Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special Jujutsu Kaisen video. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of Q&A. I've asked you guys to ask any question you want in regards to the series, some of my thoughts and feelings on it, and I'm going to be answering them in today's video. So, I've selected about 10. I'm going to be going through them from the bottom all the way to the top, and we'll see what happens. So before I get into that, I of course have to mention my subscriber goal for 2021, hitting 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you're already a fan of the channel and you're not subscribed, you might as well to help me reach that goal. The other thing is my Patreon. If you want to help support me and the channel directly while also getting access to reviews for Solo Leveling and The Boxer, you can always become a patron. I have a link to that down in the description. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Our first question comes from Madison Murray, and they ask, who do you think is best boy, and why is it Toge Inumaki? We'll save the Inumaki part for a later question, but the best boy, in my opinion, is Todo. I mean, come on. He's as good as a boy can be. He is the best of friends, a real man of all mans. He carries a picture of his best friend around in a locket with his best girl. It doesn't get any better than that. So, Todo, no competition whatsoever, is best boy. Next question's from Koji, and since it's from Koji, I have to translate a little bit because it's Koji. So, he's basically saying that when Gege kills off a character, he tends to do it very quickly, like almost out of nowhere. And he wants to know if I think that will change with the culling game. Probably not. I don't imagine the format in which characters get killed off in this series is going to be particularly different. The whole thing with the culling game is that people are going to be dying en masse, not necessarily main characters, but people are going to be dying left and right. So I really don't see that changing at all with the culling game. Gin and Tonic asks, any abilities you would like to see as someone's curse technique? It's funny, when you first left the comment, I thought, ooh, it'd be cool if we had one that could trap someone in like a pocket dimension or something. And then I remembered that those are domain expansions, one of the big gimmicks of the whole series, because I'm very intelligent and remember things like that. I thought about it a little. I think one that would be really interesting would be having some kind of illusion technique. I don't think we've seen anything like that quite yet. So that would probably be an interesting, not super broken, but potential interesting applications. So that would probably be something kind of cool. TLN_ asks, do you believe Maki's new weapon created by Mai will have an ability, and what is the future of Todo's character? If Maki's new weapon has an ability, I think it will probably have something to do with creation, since Mai used up all of her life force to create it. And I feel if there was going to be some kind of application of creation into that sword, it would be that if it ever breaks, it just repairs itself. It's a self-sustaining weapon. It doesn't get dull, it doesn't get chipped, it doesn't break, it'll just repair itself. If Mai's technique were to be used in some manner, I think it would be like that. For your other question, what's the future of Todo's character? I assume it's going to be mostly figuring out what he can do without Boogie Woogie. Like, he's pretty strong without it, but part of what made Todo such a fucking monster is using Boogie Woogie in combat. And now that he seemingly doesn't have it, that's a big problem. So, ideally, he's going to be figuring out some kind of new way to fight, maybe some way to get a new technique or alter Boogie Woogie to be able to use it. I understand, I think he can't use it anymore because his remaining hand got damaged by Mahito, something like that. I don't know. But I feel like the main focus of Todo's character is going to be, what are you going to do now that you can't clap your hands? We're going to find out about that. Honey Mustard asks, what do you think is Sukuna's true technique? Didn't someone say it's he takes the techniques from people that he eats or something like that? Or people that are killed in Malevolent Shrine? I could see it being something like that. As of right now, it seems like it has something to do with the 4 or 5 elements, depending on whichever version of that you use. It's Japan, so probably the 5 elements. If that eating people thing is true, then that would actually be kind of busted and very fitting for Sukuna. Swamp Nasty asks, do you think you'll do a video on Volume 0 and other arcs of JJK? Maybe. Maybe, possibly. Maybe I'll do a Volume 0 one when the movie comes out so I can cash in on all the people that are going to be looking it up at the time. Ryzen4K asks, any hot takes / unpopular opinions on the series? Potentially one. In relation to the first question I answered from Madison Murray, is Inumaki best boy? No. Here's the problem with Inumaki. He hasn't done shit since Volume 0. Not really anything significant. He had a bit of a fight with Hanami, a bit. That was all. So, ideally, with him losing his arm and Yuta coming back, we're going to be seeing what's going on with the second years. We're going to have Inumaki do something, but really, I don't get all of the hype with Inumaki. Like, Cursed Speech is cool, but he doesn't do anything. He's barely done anything in the whole series. We haven't really learned much about his personality or his backstory. There's not really much to him, so I feel like he's kind of overhyped by a lot of people just because they think talking in sushi ingredients is neat, which it is, but I don't think it's as deserving of all of the adoration as it gets. Gojo Satoru asks, what do you think Yuki Tsukumo's curse technique is? Also, how do you think Nobara will come back into the story? I'm gonna be honest, I have no fucking idea what Yuki's technique is. I don't have the slightest clue what the hell she does with that Shikigami. She's special grade, so it has to be something kind of busted. Maybe it involves screwing with other people's techniques? I don't know. I've seen some people theorize that when she showed up, she basically erased Urayume's ice fall thing or whatever it was. I think that may have just been kind of a bad transition between panels. But maybe that's possible. If she is able to nullify techniques, like if, let's say, Gojo fires purple at Yuki and she's just like, no, and the technique just doesn't hit her, just removes the purple, that would be kind of busted. I feel like that may be something fitting of the special grade, maybe? I don't know. Other than that, I don't have a goddamn clue. For your other question, how will Nobara come back into the story? More likely than not, they're going to be in some kind of bad situation where some villain has the upper hand over them. It's like, oh my god, there's nothing we can do, we're all going to die. And then she's going to show up from the rooftops and, I don't know, throw a nail into someone's skull, use a domain expansion, something like that. It will be a very dramatic, essential moment. She will save the day when she comes back. Assuming she's not dead. Still not sure. Who knows? I think Gege said they planned on killing off at least one of the main characters by the end of the story, so maybe that's Nobara. Who knows? How Roberto asks, I see a lot of confusion about how domain expansion / simple domain / domain amplifications nullify techniques. For example, is it just with techniques that are defensive in nature? No. I don't know how, I just know they do. I don't know. But with domain amplification, I don't think it's just defensive, because Gojo wasn't able to use his technique on Hanami to attack him until he deactivated domain amplification. So it seems like the way it works is you just surround yourself with a field that curse techniques can't get through. Other stuff can get through it, but not curse techniques, I guess. I'm not really sure, because domain amplifications have been introduced and used once, and have never been brought up prior or again. So I have no idea. For simple domains, it's just how they work. They're basically like a dollar store brand domain expansion. You don't exert a technique over it. It's basically just a domain with nothing else. It's the bare minimum requirement for a domain expansion. And as we know, when there are two domains in a tug of war, the guaranteed hit attack is no longer in effect. So that's pretty much why it exists. That's how it works. And for our last questions, we have Neo Rose, who's here with two questions. First one, when we get back to the Culling game, what is your most anticipated thing in the arc? Second, do you agree with the decisions Gege has made post-Shibuya, mainly referring to Maki's little character arc? Okay, so, Culling game. What am I looking forward to the most? Either seeing what Yuta can do now. How strong is current Yuta? What's the deal with Rika? Like, what is the nature of her current existence? Or Hikari. I think a lot of us really just want to see what the fuck is going on with Hikari. It's been so long since his character was first introduced, and we've seen nothing of him since. So, it's time. We've waited long enough. We have to finally see this guy do something. Probably Hikari. Hikari is probably the one thing I am most hyped about seeing in this Culling game. Now, for post-Shibuya decisions, I really don't have any issues with it. Maybe Naoya has been a little bit underutilized. Maybe we could have seen a bit more of the Zenin clan, but it was always going to end in this eventually, and Gege really doesn't like wasting time with filler stuff that's not important. So, it was basically just like, Maki's gonna go to the Zenin clan. What do you think's going to happen when she goes there? This is going to happen. So I really have no issues with it. And it's a lot of people have actually suggested that Naoya may come back as a vengeful spirit, something with the kanji in his name. I don't know. Maybe. That'd be neat if we actually saw another vengeful spirit. That'd be pretty cool. But me, I've got no problems with this. I think a lot of people have issues with the pacing of the Maki arc because the Yaga thing happened. The Yaga thing's probably the worst thing that Gege has done post-Shibuya, because that was way too fast. There was not nearly enough build-up for that. That's the one thing where I'd be like, kind of a bad move. But Jujutsu Kaisen's always been really fast-paced. We straight up skipped the hostage rescue thing in Hidden Inventory. We skipped over Yuji's training arc after coming back from the dead. This is standard practice for Gege. People are just paying more attention to it now because of the Yaga thing. But I really have no issue with it. So with that is all of today's questions. I may do another one of these at a later date. We're probably going to wait a while for some more stuff to happen in the story. Of course, Jujutsu Kaisen is coming back on August 1st for us people here in the States. My videos will probably be out a little late for that because I'm going to be on vacation and won't have Wi-Fi where I'm going to be that weekend. So, more likely than not, those videos are going to be out a little later than usual, but they will be out. So, with that is all I have to say for today's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reactions and reviews. Every week we get a chapter. And since Jujutsu is going to be coming back in a few weeks, you can expect that those videos are going to be coming back as well. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Kengan Omega, and Chainsaw Man, I do videos in those series as well. So if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. And since it's the end of the video, it's time to give a shout out to my wonderful patrons, Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Chris Redfield, Scratch23, Moonshadow935, Rat, Ryzen 4K, and Artist. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at the end of videos, or access to reviews for Solo Leveling and the Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.